3 former Minneapolis police officers were charged Wednesday with aiding and abetting murder in connection with the death of George Floyd in their custody, according to court records. In addition, Derek Chauvin, a 4th former officer who had already been charged with 3rd-degree murder in the case, will now be charged with 2nd-degree murder in addition to the previous charges against him, according to the records, which were filed in Hennepin County Court by Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. The 3 ex-cops who had not yet been charged, Tu Thao, J. Alexander Kung and Thomas Lane, assisted Chauvin in arresting Floyd on Memorial Day on suspicion that Floyd passed a counterfeit bill. All 4 officers were fired last week. Chauvin, who is white, was charged Friday with 3rd-degree murder and 2nd-degree manslaughter after video footage emerged showing him kneeling on Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes as Floyd, a black man, lay handcuffed, crying out that he could not breathe. The video shows that Chauvin continued to keep his knee of Floyd's neck even after Floyd became non-responsive. Floyd's death has sparked widespread protests against police violence in dozens of cities across the country, with demonstrators and Floyd's family calling for charges to be brought against Thao, Kung, and Lane. The family also has demanded that Chauvin, 44, face a 1st-degree murder charge. Ben Crump, an attorney for the family, said in a statement that the family's reaction was that it was a bittersweet moment. "We are deeply gratified that AG Ellison took decisive action, arresting and charging all the officers involved in #George Floyd's death and upgrading the charge against Derek Chauvin to felony 2nd-degree murder," Crump wrote in a post on Twitter. Quincy Mason Floyd, George Floyd's son, said in an interview on CNN after news of the charges broke, "We demand justice. My father shouldn't have been killed like this. We want justice." A 2nd-degree murder charge carries a statutory maximum sentence of 40 years upon conviction, compared with 25 years for 3rd-degree murder. Thao, 34, Kung, 26, and Lane, 37, are charged with aiding and abetting 2nd-degree murder and 2nd-degree manslaughter. The first count has a maximum possible sentence of 40 years in prison, while the manslaughter-related count has a 10-year maximum prison sentence. Actual sentences are often short of the maximum. Ellison is expected to address the charges during a news conference Wednesday afternoon. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office was handling prosecutions stemming from George Floyd's death until Minnesota Governor Tim Walz assigned Ellison the responsibility on Sunday. Minneapolis is located in Hennepin County. Floyd's memorial is scheduled for Thursday in Minneapolis. He was 46 years old. 2 separate autopsies, one commissioned by Floyd's family and another performed by the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office, both found that Floyd's death was a homicide, but differed in their determinations of its causes. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner's autopsy found that Floyd died from cardiopulmonary arrest that was complicated by police subduing him with restraint and neck compression. The autopsy also cited underlying health conditions as contributing to his death. But the independent autopsy, conducted by pathologists hired by Floyd's family, found that he died from asphyxiation, and that pressure on both his neck and back contributed. Dr. Michael Barden, one of the pathologists and a former chief medical examiner for New York City, said Monday that Floyd had no underlying medical problems that caused or contributed to his death. The criminal complaint against Chauvin details Kung's and Lane's actions during Floyd's arrest. According to the complaint, Kung held Floyd's back and Lane held his legs. At one point, Kung checked for a pulse, and said I couldn't find one, according to the complaint. But he and the other cops stayed in their positions for approximately 2 more minutes. Floyd repeatedly told the officers that he could not breathe, cried out for his deceased mother and asked the officers please, the complaint against Chauvin reads. In all, Chauvin held his knee on Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, including for nearly 3 minutes after Floyd became non-responsive, according to the complaint. Videotape of the encounter shows bystanders calling for the officers to get off of him. In an emotional speech earlier on Wednesday, Crump, the Floyd family attorney, said Floyd cried out for anybody who would listen. It seemed like the lay people on the street were listening. The people who refused to listen were the people who were supposed to listen, Crump said, speaking from the site where Floyd was killed.